Bye.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Running Riot Digital Marketing Podcast. Today I have Caitlin.
Hi.
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Caitlin, and I do the social media kind of side of things here, mainly.
True.
And other bits and bobs. Yeah.
You do other things. We give you things.
Yeah.
You design them. You make things look better. That's what you do. That's a good description. We give you something, you give it to us back, and you give it to us back. You give it back to us. Wow. What a Tuesday. Topic for today is Facebook dead? So I think this has kind of been floating around for a while now. I wouldn't say it's super new, but I do think that it's something important for us to discuss as an agency because we still offer it as a service. But obviously we've watched it change, we've watched it grow, we've hit a lot of barriers, we've had a lot of limitations, we've had to explain those to clients. And I think about a year ago, we started not recommending Facebook as much depending on the industry and their goals and their target audiences. So kind of just going to walk you through that. And then Caitlin also has some stats, which she's excited to tell us about. So we'll rattle through those as well. But yeah, it's kind of just like an open discussion because Caitlin works in social media. And when I first started for Trio 2.5 years ago, that was a role that I did. I did a lot of Facebook and still am involved in helping the social media team. So yeah, we've got a lot of knowledge between the two of us.
Yeah.
So kick us off. Let's read some stats. Let's give the people what they want. They want evidence, and they want to know what's going on. So we've got some reputable sources that we will
put in the caption,
in the captions, descriptions. And obviously these will change, and these are all 2022 stats.
Yes.
So they are relevant. Obviously we're in August now. So yeah, what do we have? What's the first thing?
Okay. We'll start with the fact that 36.8% of all of the people on Earth have a Facebook account.
Which is mad. Like, pop
There's a lot.
Pop your calculator out. Let's say there's 8 billion people in the world. What is that percent? What we're talking about people? Because the reason I ask is like, oh my gosh, we don't have a calculator. Hold on. I'm taking my phone out. Right. So give me the number again. We've got, I'm just guesstimating 8 billion. How many zeros is that?
9? I don't know.
Wow, we're really showcasing our intelligence today.
We don't do maths.
What is the percentage?
36.8.
Right. So just that is a lovely.
It's like got an E in it. Oh jeez.
Basically,
a lot of people have an account.
Almost 3 billion people is what I'm getting from that. Are on Facebook. That's ridiculous, and that's a large number of people. So,
yeah. And
considering that you're not meant to have Facebook, I say not meant to because obviously, like, people can lie, but you're not meant to have Facebook under a certain age. So that already takes out a large chunk of the population of the world.
Yeah, and it also said on the website, you got to take into consideration how big, like, the population of Asia and some of the other countries where they're not, like, Facebook isn't.
Yeah, that's true. Like in China and things like that, where those applications and certain aspects of the internet are banned. So
yeah, so it's like remove those people, and it's still 36.8%. So it's probably like more percentage of people that can actually technically have it.
Yeah, true.
It's a lot.
So that's a crazy amount, and I guess, I mean, the whole topic is Facebook dead? But if you looked at just that stat, you would say, oh, of course not. Look how many people are on Facebook. But I think that also takes us now to the fact that majority of the people that started on Facebook, going from MySpace to Facebook, this is going to show my age and other people's age that are listening. People are like, what's MySpace? The audience of Facebook right at the start was not really being targeted by advertising. It was just a free app. You popped your 100 pictures from the album from your night out at the club from your Samsung camera onto Facebook, and that's what it was used for. It was for people to keep in touch, and I think it then moved towards people traveling and keeping in touch with family easier and more easily. And now we've progressed. Well, we knew it was going to happen. We were like, this app can't be free forever. And instead of obviously making us pay for the app, we basically just get targeted by ads instead, and make Facebook money that way. So yeah, we are being sold, essentially. That's exactly what we are. We are an audience that people will create when making ads, and we are being paid for, which sounds really
this sounds
weird.
Very strange.
But yeah, you're younger than me. You're of a different generation. What's
not that much younger.
You're not. I know that's the thing. You aren't. But what are your current thoughts on Facebook, and what was your initial use of Facebook prior to all the ads?
The initial use was, what was it? It was pictures mainly. It was like you go into town with your friends and you'd like take a picture with some like weird hat on in TK Maxx.
Oh my gosh.
And then you'd upload it for everyone to see.
And judge you.
Yeah.
Lovely.
It was that, really. I think that was pretty much what it was, because I don't think I really used Messenger that much, because I'd use other things for that.
Yeah, and then it became its own app, which is...
Yeah, but now...
Go down there.
Now, like, it's purely Messenger for me. Like,
oh, really?
I don't even really scroll through my timeline anymore, because it's... I don't know if it's because, obviously, I had it... So when you get Facebook, obviously, you add everyone, you add all, like, your school chums.
Yeah.
But now when I look on it, it's like, I don't really care what you guys are doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not interested in the content that I'm seeing. Everyone's
getting married, having a baby.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
Everyone's doing all the things.
Like, I don't really want to see my timeline at the minute, because I feel like it's just stale, because, like, I don't follow any pages. I don't follow any, like, accounts. It's all just people, and they're still doing their, like, life updates, and it's just...
You're not there for
just not interested.
That's fair. It's very fair.
I've moved on. But now it's just Messenger.
Yeah. And do you use... I mean, I don't use Messenger, so that's interesting.
Really?
No, not at all. Like, I would never... I know I have the app. I think it's in my work folder. Like, I literally don't look at it. But do you click on adverts on there? Because that is a placement for ads. And that's kind of... I mean, I know we're saying is Facebook dead in general, but I think one of the biggest aspects of it is it worth companies having? Because that's the essence of it. Is it worth companies having Facebook and using it to sell their product, their service? And one of the placements is obviously on Messenger. So if you're using that application, that aspect of it, are you seeing ads that are relevant? Are you being retargeted? Are you clicking on anything?
I am seeing relevant ones, but I don't click on it, because if I go onto Messenger, I've got on there to chat to someone, and I'm obviously more interested in that than
so you're using it for a different reason.
Yeah, but I do often see things on there, and I'm like, oh, like, it does, like, for brand awareness, those kind of things, it does do something. Because,
would you
like,
search them after that?
I would, yeah, because, like, I'd swipe to, like, exit the ad and, like, get it out of my, like,
feed,
screen thing. But, yeah, like, I see a lot on there for, like, cider and for, like, clothing brand things.
Yeah.
And, yeah, when I see it, it does kind of just, I don't know, it just sticks in your head more, and then I'm like, oh, I'll give
it a
good look, like, when I'm bored
later. Maybe if you see it again, you're like, oh, it's not the first time. Okay, so, I mean, I guess the good thing, and this is what we do actually say to our clients, is social media is brand awareness. And when Facebook first started doing advertising, there was just so much, like, information you could get. You could find out exactly who clicked on it, and you could see if they converted. There's just so much data that we had access to. And now that that's been taken away from us, I almost feel like that is the main cause for people not wanting to use it. I think the other reason is obviously the decrease in usage, which we'll go to. Caitlin, you'll read that stat out. But I think the first reason, not necessarily in a hierarchical order, but one of the reasons that people have stopped using it as much for ads is because they're like, well, I don't have any data, so how do I know it works? I can't get a return on investment. There's no ROI. And what we normally counteract that with, I'm sure you've heard me say it, is like, well, when you get a billboard or if you go sponsor a football team, the only information you actually have is how many people are going to go to a match or walk past the the billboard. So you're not going to see how many people clicked on it because they can't. You're not going to see how many people called you from that.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any of that information, yet you do invest in it. So why can't people see that it's worth investing in Facebook for a brand awareness point of view instead of being so hang on to how many times, well, what statistics we can get from that exact ad.
Yeah.
But I think the second reason would be the fact that there are less people on there now. So what is the statistic for the amount of people that have gone off Facebook?
Well, on the thing that I read, it says between April and July 2022, it's like the past kind of like 3 months or so, the daily active users fell by 2 million.
That's a large. I know that we're talking about in the billions, so million sounds not as bad, but millions is still a lot of people.
Yeah, that is a lot of people to collectively be like, you know what? No.
I don't want to use this application.
They're clearly, something's gone askew.
Yeah. I definitely think that people are starting to, I want to say outgrow it, which sounds weird because the audience is generally older.
Yeah, but they are, like, they're
moving on to a different app.
Yeah, because other apps are kind of, like, progressing more.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, and I don't know what it is about Facebook. I feel like perhaps it just doesn't lend itself to being changed as well as the other apps.
And I know that they're trying to introduce things. I think they're making a good effort. They rebranded to Meta firstly, so that was one thing. I hope that they know that no one's going to call it that. Like, just hit me up.
Oh yeah, sorry, Meta. Is Meta dead?
It's Meta dead. Right, maybe we'll retitle this. But yeah, I feel like they rebranded, so that was great. You know, they got WhatsApp on board. They've always had Instagram on board. Well, for the most part. And they've got, their reels. They're putting that. I mean, I'm getting reels on my feed, so I do think they're making an effort to get maybe some Instagram audiences or like users onto it. Yeah. Because essentially, you would have gone from Facebook to Instagram. That would be I think that was a natural movement for most people. Maybe like the much younger just went straight to Instagram and they didn't even bother when they probably didn't have a Facebook account at all.
Bypassed.
They didn't need that. But yeah, I think they're making an effort to keep the people there, but 2 million still sounds like a large amount. So I guess that's the second thing is is Facebook dead question, with the fact that people aren't using it for ads anymore due to lack of data that we can get from the success. And now the fact that there are we actually know there are less active users on it.
Yeah.
It's another red flag.
It definitely is. But in with the Jessica just magic this part. In terms of ads, is what I was trying to say. In terms of ads, they have changed their approach to it because obviously they've realised people have changed their privacy settings and they're not getting the same data that they did previously. And they've kind of tried to change it so that now it's more based on the information that you do put in there freely, like your job type, if you're an admin of a Facebook page, and some of the more kind of like job-based criterias to try and target people that way. But I just don't know.
Just don't know if it's enough.
No.
I agree that is important. I agree that, knowing who the decision maker is for a company and that is information you put on Facebook. Like I am actually trying to think now if I have updated. Like I would go straight to LinkedIn to update my job title.
Yes, this is my thought. Exactly.
Mainly because Facebook does this gross thing where it tells everyone, and that is, I know you're proud. I'm proud on LinkedIn. I'm not proud. I'm not proud on Facebook. That is going to come across weird, but
See, I like doing it on Facebook for that reason. Because it's you have to do it. Because I would never do a post on Facebook. I would never post anything on there. But if you just update your job on there and it happens to chuck a post out for everyone to see, I'll be like, oh,
lol.
Sorry.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm I would tell my family, obviously, if I got promotion or anything like that or a new job. I just don't know if my Facebook audience is there for that.
Yeah.
Whereas my LinkedIn audience is there. They're there's just cheerleaders waiting on the other side of LinkedIn being like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, well done. Whereas I feel on Facebook, you've got half the people who see it and go, oh, she's really successful and putting it in our face and won't comment. And then you'll get your mom's friends who are like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yes,
they have no idea what you do, but they're there commenting. Yeah. So yeah, okay. So I'm glad that we've got mixed opinions on this because that is kind of going to help us, hopefully, when we round up to identify if we think it's obviously only our opinion and this is all just based on our experiences and our thoughts, both personal and within business. But yeah, I definitely think their efforts are noticeable in both ads and in just the look and feel and putting in reels, but I just wonder if they're too far gone. I wonder if...
I feel like they are.
They're just not... They're almost trying to do everything. Whereas Instagram, we know it went from pictures. We were like, oh, video. Oh, reels, like all stories, but it was fine because we were still there for that same reason. Whereas Facebook's like, oh, come here to update your family and your job, and if you had a baby, and watch these reels. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know what you want from me. And then it's like, oh, but also buy this thing that you like searched 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, you know what? I need to leave because I don't really know what you want from me.
That's a good point. Maybe they just need to chill out a bit.
They're trying to do everything at one go. And I think because on Instagram, I know it's about Facebook, but in Instagram, you can scroll on your feed or watch a story and an ad comes up in the same format. Whereas on Facebook, it's like pictures of your friends and family and then bam, ad. And it's so loud. Even if the graphic isn't that loud, you're like, oh, it's just like you're annoyed. I'm already like, I don't want this in between my family pictures.
On the Facebook ads, it looks visually more like if you go on a website and they've got those annoying ads down the side of like either side of the content. Ads. Yeah.
We do those.
Well, that's what I feel like it looks like on Facebook. And it's just like, ugh,
it looks like you're being attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. And if you don't put tracking on and you also say no to relevant ads, then you get ads that are so irrelevant, so they annoy you more. But if you turn it on, then you're like, hey, stop using my data. So it's just,
it's tricky. Because I really like the idea, because obviously a lot of their audience now is older. I like the idea because when they released is it called the Facebook portal? It's it's kind of like a video camera, like a little unit that you set up and you link it to your Facebook. I do know what you're talking
about, yes.
And then I don't know if you both have to have it or if it's just one person, but at least one person has to have it. And then you can like use it to video call easily. And I thought that was so smart because like my grandparents, I chat to them on Facebook or like some of my like
they're not going to be FaceTiming, are they?
Yeah, and I feel like it was such a smart way for them to just kind of chuck out another product, really.
Yeah, like just basically branding something. So people, just association of a brand name, I guess.
But I felt like it really fit, and it fit with the message of the whole like trying to. I can't remember what the slogan is, but it's something about like keeping people connected.
Yeah, I've seen the ads for that. To be fair, that is true. They almost branched out and then went, oh, we'll make things as well. We'll make products, and then Meta was coming out with the like VR and things like that because it was all associated and Meta Facebook. So yeah, that's true. There are definitely things that they've done that are like Instagram's not done that. TikTok's not done that. Can you imagine that? A little projector for TikTok.
Oh gosh.
TikTok, if you're listening, we want some creative ideas. But yeah, no, I agree. They're doing things. They're definitely not just going, oh, we'll just sit back and watch everyone. They are competing. The biggest question is just we just don't know if it's enough, and we just don't know if it's dead or dying.
Yeah. See, I feel like it's, for one thing, it's good.
Yeah.
But for a large majority of things, in my day-to-day life, I wouldn't think to use it.
Yeah.
But like how we were saying for like brand awareness campaigns, I think it's perfect because people do, you just have a quick scroll.
Yeah.
If you see it, if like I was looking again, like if it was like a clothing thing, if I was scrolling and I saw a nice top or whatever, I'd pause and look and be like, oh, and then I keep scrolling. Yeah. But at least then I've logged it. It's like, it does help. I think for ads, it is good.
Yeah.
And as well.
Tell us. She's got a stat, guys.
I've got a statistic.
Third stat. Tell us.
So, because the potential audience of your Facebook ads is 2.168 billion.
That's a lot.
Like, that's so many people. Like, although people might not be using it how they used to, they've still got it. Even still whether it's on Messenger or they're scrolling.
Yeah.
Like, it's still doing things.
I agree. I mean, I'm going to go back to the analogy of like a billboard, because I just think a billboard and online social media is so similar in the sense of you really can't track who's contacted you from seeing that, or who's seen that and then as an effect or as a result then gone to search that because of brand awareness. So in that analogy, if someone said to you, there's a building and it's going to reach 2 to 3 billion people, like that's how many people are going to walk past it. It's not as many as it used to be, and even more so, we can't really tell you how many people have walked past it, or we can't tell you demographics of those people, but it will definitely have that many people. You're not going to be like, well, no, I'm not going to do it then. You're still going to be like, well, it's still that many people. It's still in the billions. So what's the harm?
Exactly.
So yeah, I think we've rattled on about the negatives, and I think a lot of them are probably more personal, just because you're now like,
our personal usage of it has declined.
But I agree with you. I've purchased from Instagram. I've not ever purchased from Facebook, but I can't confidently say I've never purchased something and during that buying journey been influenced by Facebook, because I think I have. I think that seeing something a couple times has definitely led me to doing it. I just haven't done it through Facebook. So I think that's kind of where the whole conversation's been. It's like, it's not doing incredible things like other platforms maybe are, and it's not competing the same way. I think they are competing. I just don't think they're competing on the same level as platforms like TikTok, which are just so on trend and everyone's using them. But I don't think it's like, don't do ads anymore, because we do them, and we definitely do research as much as we possibly can get. But we're realistic with people, and we are very honest with them now, and we say, look, this is the data we don't have access to, but what we do guarantee you is that you will get impressions, and you need to just cling on to ROI a whole bunch less. And you need to use it with a much more open mind. And I think that's probably the best advice we could give, more than anything. So yeah, do you have any other stats for us? Is that
not really. I think that's your lot.
We've nailed it. Okay, so I would say in conclusion, I don't think Facebook is dead. I think that it's definitely struggling in like just comparison to other platforms, and like our use in the office, we're mad about. We have a phone called the TikTok phone, and we don't have a phone called the Facebook phone. But yeah, so I do think that it's struggling. I do think that the stats, like you've just said, like the lack of active users and the fact that people are using it less in general, is like a slight cause for concern, and that Facebook obviously knows that, and they are probably doing the best they can. But I definitely think that if you are going to continue to use it, or if you're feeling apprehensive about it, you need to have a much more open mind about it, and kind of just, don't be expecting the same results maybe, and also don't be expecting to get like statistics such as how much money you get back from the amount you spend. Just be a bit more open to the fact that it is brand awareness over everything. So any parting thoughts, opinions?
Parting thoughts and opinions. I feel quite similarly to you on the ads front, to be fair. But like you say, with the ROI stuff, it's like there's more.
Get a acronym.
There's more things that you can be doing on Facebook if you were on it from a business perspective. Like groups on Facebook, they're huge still, and that, you can reach that audience on a more personable level, because you can contact them, or you can post in the group. That's, and you can you can't get that really on Instagram or some of the other like social media platforms.
There's no social media platforms that do groups the way that they do it. That's actually a very good point.
And this is what I was thinking. I think in terms of Facebook's original goal, in terms of their like keeping people connected, I think they still smash it, because they got the older people doing the posts and
the commenting
and the
liking.
And then you've got the people that use Messenger, and then you've got the people that use groups, like community groups. Like I'm in so many for like Leeds, like my apartment block has them, and like paddleboarding, like things in Leeds. And it's just like
paddleboarding.
And it's just like that is the way to kind of communicate and those things. So I think, although yes, maybe daily users are going down, I think it just kind of needs to adapt a bit more and figure out where it wants to sit rather than
and what it wants. So I do think that there's different ways to use Facebook by kind of capitalizing on what it was originally made for, like you've just said, like groups and things like that. So there's definitely ways to use it, and I think that if we only use it for things like ads or organic reach, and we don't use things like stories and things that it's brought out, then you probably aren't going to see the results that you want. So just got to use it to the best of its ability, basically. So wrapping up today, is Facebook dead?
Somewhat.
We think that there are aspects of it that definitely are struggling. And I think that we've seen Facebook make an effort. We're seeing it make an effort in the ads. We're making an effort in rebranding, in incorporating video more and reels. I just think it's got a bit more work to do to really not only compete, but to also show its users that it's there, to help them basically get more exposure and for businesses to be able to use it. Because ultimately businesses using it is where it's going to make its money, because that's where advertising comes from. So maybe it just needs to kind of take care of that side a bit more. I know it can't get over the whole privacy thing, and I get that. I still think there's ways around that, and I still think people should understand with an open mind you can get a lot of brand exposure with it. So yeah, give it your best shot. And yeah, that's all we've got to say. We want to know your opinion. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, pop a comment down. If you're on our podcast platforms, go onto our website and leave a comment on our blog that will probably wrap this up, or go visit our social media that will have a post about this. And yeah, just find a way. If you want to fill out an inquiry form, whatever it is. Do you think Facebook is dead? If so, why? And if not, why? And yeah, we just want to hear from you guys. Yeah. Thanks for coming on our podcast today, Caitlin.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure you'll be back. So yeah, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.